Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Nashtaprayeshu bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Bhutale Swarupakaraham Dadati Swapadantam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuddhakarakam Shri Guru Vaishnavasya Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagala Raghunatham Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadhaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahaganalali Shakantam Dinabandhu Jagatpati Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namaste Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vishvanu Sudevi Tanamami Haripriye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasari Gaura Bhakta Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Many people should not trip over that wire, right?
No, actually, I didn't realize that was him. She didn't realize. Yeah, we just come now. Class
Hare Krishna. So we are reading from Bhagavad Gita, chapter 5, chapter 16. Jnanena tu tat ajnanam yesham nasitam manaha tesham aditya vajnanam prakashayati tatparam. When, how, so this is, we are continuing from text 15. So, yeah, so we're discussing about the body. How the body consists of the city of 9 gate. Narima, can you make sure that the Wi-Fi is on?
Wi-Fi?
Yeah, in the office. Yeah,
on the Bluetooth.
Yeah, I know, but still ask them. The embodied soul, the embodied spirit master the city of his body, does not create activity, nor does he induce people to act, nor does he create the fruits of action. All this is enacted by the laws of material nature. Nor does the Supreme Lord assume anyone's sinful or pious activities. Embodied beings, however, are bewildered because of the ignorance which covers their real knowledge.
5.15.
Yeah, I was just reading from before. So now, when however one is enlightened with the knowledge by which new science is destroyed, then his knowledge reveals everything, and the sun lights up everything in the daytime. When, however, one is enlightened with the knowledge by which new science is destroyed, then his knowledge reveals everything, as the sun lights up everything in the daytime. So, what does this mean? Those who have forgotten Krishna must certainly be bewildered, but those who are in Krishna consciousness are not bewildered at all. It is stated in the Bhagavad Gita, Sarvam Jnana Plavena Jnanadhi Sarva Karmadhi Nahi Jnanena Sadrisham. Knowledge is always highly esteemed. And what is that knowledge? Perfect knowledge is achieved when one surrenders unto Krishna, as is said in the 7th chapter, 19th verse. Bahunam Janmanam Ante Jnanavam Mam Prapadyate.
Wi-Fi is on, Mataji, but he's saying, whenever he's saying that sometimes it happens.
Okay. So this is about bewilderment. See, the soul is absolutely and completely under illusion, and this is why this Kam, Krodh, Lobha, Moha, Matsarya, Mad. This is the ignorance which is covering the soul, right? So when we come in this material world, this is the main topic of our existence, right? So now text 16 says, when however one is enlightened with the knowledge by which this science is destroyed, then his knowledge reveals everything as sun lights up everything in the daytime. Those who have forgotten Krishna must certainly be bewildered. So as soon as we forget Krishna, what is the next step in our life? We forget Krishna. Then see, we enter this world. And see, existence. Existence means Krishna, his devotees, Krishna, his devotees, his creation, right? This is what it means. Now, we forget Krishna and we come in this material world. When we come in this material world, meaning it is a material creation of the Supreme Lord and temporary, isn't it? Now, when we come in this material world without Krishna, what happens? What happens? When we come in this material world without Krishna, what happens? We are bewildered, right? And when we are bewildered, what do?
Only material restrictions.
Kam, Krodh, Lobha, Moha, Matsarya, Mad. Right? We see it in our everyday life. Right? As soon as I forget Krishna, immediately I am covered by this material consciousness. What is that knowledge? Perfect knowledge is achieved when one surrenders unto Krishna, as is said in the 7th chapter. After passing through many births, when one is perfect in knowledge, surrenders unto Krishna, or when one attains Krishna consciousness, then everything is revealed to him, as everything is revealed by the sun in the daytime. The living entity is bewildered in so many ways. For instance, when he unceremoniously thinks himself God, he actually falls into the last snare of nescience. In the material world, everybody wants to be God. Everybody wants to be the center. Everybody wants things to go the way he or she desires, right? This is the source of all quarrel in this world. Everybody wants everything according to my wish, right? Now, the Jnanis, they have understood that this is not true. That not everybody's not going to cooperate with my desire, right? So what do they do then? What do they do? They say, okay, so I don't want this world, but I will merge in Brahman and I'll become God. What they do. So here Prabhupada said this is the last snare of misscience, meaning that you have escaped everything you have understood, you know, the body, your soul, but we're still not ready to surrender to Krishna and work for him, do service for him, obey his instructions. I'm still not ready for it. So what do we do? So this section of people say everything is one. It's not two, because as soon as there's two, immediately there is conflict. Right? As soon as I say there are two, immediately there is conflict. Right? And with whom is that conflict? It's with Krishna. The reason why we are in conflict with one another is because we are in conflict with Krishna. The source of my conflict with others is because I'm in conflict with Krishna. And we are very nasty to each other. Right? Everybody knows this. Very, very nasty. Does God become bewildered by science? If a living being is God, then how can he become bewildered by science? Does God become bewildered by science? It's so. Then science, Satan is greater than God. Real knowledge can be obtained from a person who is in perfect Krishna consciousness. What do you know this sound like this? Real knowledge can be obtained from a person who is in perfect Krishna consciousness. Therefore, one has to seek out such a bona fide spiritual master and under him learn what Krishna consciousness is. For Krishna consciousness will certainly drive away only science. The sun drives away darkness. Even though a person may be in full knowledge that he is not this body but is transcendental to the body, he still may not be able to discriminate between the soul and super soul. Alright? So we know we are not a body but we are soul, but we are not able to distinguish between soul and super soul. However, he can know everything well if he cares to take shelter of the perfect, bona fide Krishna conscious spiritual master. However, he can know everything well if he cares to take shelter of the perfect, bona fide spiritual Krishna conscious spiritual master. One can know God and one's relationship with God only when one actually meets a representative of Krishna, God. A representative of God never claims that he is God, although he is paid all the respect ordinarily paid to God because he has knowledge of God. One has to learn the distinction between God and the living entity. Lord Shri Krishna therefore states in the second chapter, 2.12, that every living being is individual and that the Lord also is individual. They were all individuals in the past, they are individuals at present, and they will continue to be individuals in the future, even after liberation. At night, we see everything as one in the darkness. But in day when the sun is up, we see everything in its real identity. Identity with individuality in spiritual life is real knowledge. So, see, only Srila Prabhupada is teaching us this difference. So many ignorance is just telling us we are this body and we should just make the body more important, right? Either the physical body or the mental body, we should make it more and more important, right? Now, when other philosophies started thinking deeper, you are not the body, you are soul. All right, now come the next obstacle. Who am I? I'm soul, but who am I? Am I God or am I not God? Alright, so only Srila Prabhupada and the philosophy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the Vaishnava philosophy. I hope by now you understand that there are different types of philosophy. Vaishnavas, all Vaishnavas, they say there are two. And if we were not reading Srila Prabhupada's books, we will believe that soul and super soul are one. Right? So Srila Prabhupada in the line of Vaishnava Acharyas is systematically proving to us that it's not one, it is two. Really, this is a major obstacle. When you want to learn something, you want to understand something, unless by past life you've already taken birth in Vaishnava families, right? If you have taken birth in Vaishnava families, then naturally you are devotee of Krishna and you accept. But sometimes you get merged also. You get not clear. But as soon as you get the knowledge immediately, you become fixed, right? But others may not. It may take more time, more speaking, persuading. Text 17. Tad buddhayas tad atmanas tannishthas tad parayanaha gacchantya punarhavritim jnana nirbhuta kalmasaha. When once in can you read just read the liturgy? Here.
Tad Buddhaya, those whose intelligence is always in the Supreme. Tat Atmanha, those whose minds are always in the Supreme. Tat Nishtaha, those whose faith is only meant for the Supreme. Tat Prayanaha, who have completely taken shelter of Him. Gachante, go. Apunha, avratim, to liberation. Janha, jnana, by knowledge. Nirudhata, cleansed. Kalmesha, kalmashaha, misgivings. When one is intelligent, mind, faith, and refuse are all fixed in the Supreme, then one becomes fully cleansed of misgivings through complete knowledge and thus proceeds straight on the path of liberation. Purport: the supreme transcendental truth is Lord Krishna. The whole Bhagavad Gita centers around the declaration that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of God ahead. That is the version of all Vedic literature. Paratattva means the Supreme Reality, who is understood by the knowers of the Supreme as Brahman. Paramatma and Bhagwan, or the Supreme Personality of God ahead, is the last word of Absolute. There is nothing more than that. The Lord says, Mataha Paramatmaha Nanyat Kinsid Asti Dhyana Gya. Impersonal Brahman is also supported by Krishna. Brahmano hi pratisthaham. Therefore, in all ways, Krishna is the Supreme Reality. One whose mind, intelligence, faith, and refuse are always in Krishna. Or, in other words, one who is fully in Krishna consciousness is undoubtedly washed clean of all misgivings and is in perfect knowledge in everything concerning transcend, transcendence. A Krishna consciousness person can truly understand that there is a duality, simultaneous identity, and individuality in Krishna, and equipped with such transcendental knowledge, one can make steady progress on the path of liberation.
When one's intelligence, mind, faith, refuge are all fixed in the Supreme, then one becomes fully cleansed of misgivings to complete knowledge and thus proceeds straight on the path of liberation. Okay, so the Supreme Transcendent Truth is
Lord Krishna.
Lord Krishna.
So this is our first statement. Okay? The whole Bhagavad Gita centers around the declaration that Krishna
Is the supreme.
Alright? Many others are not going to agree. Right? But they will use Bhagavad Gita. But they are not going to agree that Krishna is the
Krishna
Supreme
is Supreme
Person Godhead. So Prabhupada, when he first came back to India and was preaching, so there was some huge conference. So they invite all types of, philosophers, yogi, this yogi, that one, everybody, right? And what was it? It was a Gita Sammelan to discuss Bhagavad Gita. But there was no picture of
Krishna.
Everybody is going to speak on Bhagavad Gita. Krishna was new there. So, therefore, Prabhupada is writing it very nicely. That Krishna is the Supreme Person Godhead. That is the version of all Vedic religion. Paratattva means the Supreme Reality, who is understood by the knowers of the Supreme as Brahman, Paramatma, and Bhagavan. So this Paratattva, the Supreme Transcendental Truth, Paratattva. Alright? So who is this? So this is Brahman, Paramatma, and Bhagavan. Three aspects. Alright? There is nothing more than that. The Lord says, Matta parataram nanya kinchit asti dhananjaya. Impersonal Brahman, so meaning, Krishna is not saying that Brahman is not there. He's saying Brahman is there, but the basis of Brahman is Krishna. First Krishna exists, then automatically his effulgence. Like I heard, when I heard from Prabhupada anyway, that our own soul, we have consciousness, right? That consciousness is the light of the soul. Right? It's our own Brahma Jyoti. Right? So that's why when the person leaves the body, you can immediately see this is dead matter, right? There's no light. There's no light in that body. Isn't it? And the more you practice Krishna consciousness, the brighter the consciousness becomes, and brighter the Brahma Jyoti, our own Brahma Jyoti becomes visible. Impersonal Brahman is also supported by Krishna. Brahmaniti Pratishtha. Therefore, in all ways, Krishna is the supreme reality. One whose mind, intelligence, faith, and refuge are always in Krishna, or in other words, one who is fully in Krishna consciousness is undoubtedly washed clean of all misgivings. What is this misgivings? Doubts. All the doubts. Right? What are doubts? So, one who is fully in Krishna consciousness is automatically washed clean of all his anarthas. doubts, anarthas, unwanted things. What are the unwanted things in the heart? Yes. And daily we must examine ourselves. When I react in a certain way, when I speak in a certain way, or I take a certain action, right? What is the basis of my karmana, manasa, gira? My action, my words, and my thoughts. What is the basis? Is it based on calm, krodh, lobha, matsarya, but daily we need to examine this. And with great courage we should remove it. So we also know that by ourselves we can't remove it. We are too attached to our being angry. If somebody is angry, then the person becomes attached to being angry and doesn't want to give up the anger. Right? Somebody is greedy, very attached to being greedy. And this is how we are completely stuck. We in our own life. I'm happy to be angry. I'm happy to be greedy. So this is such a good psychology. I'm happy to be sinful. I'm happy to be hypocrite. I'm attached to it. Right? So therefore, truthfulness. That tattva is a transcendental truth. So a particle of that truthfulness has to become manifested in ourselves. Right? Self-analysis, introspection. Nobody can progress if there is no introspection. Right, chapter 2. Chapter 2. What is night for? What is night for? For devotees is? Daytime for? Non-devotees. Right? And what is daytime for devotees? Is night time for the non-devotees. And how are they able to distinguish between the two? Because they are introspective. So introspection is the most important characteristic of a devotee. They might think everything is fine with you. Perfect. Everything is with you. So introspection is required. I should be able to see my anartha. You gave this verse. This, our consciousness is covered with so many layers of dust. Right? What are these dust? Anartha, these misgivings. Right? Covered. And now we are chanting and by hearing, right, from Guru, Prabhupada, Guru on this, is it? Yeah. Okay, here. A Krishna conscious, one whose mind, intelligent, faith and intuition are always in Krishna, or in other words, one who is fully in Krishna consciousness, is undoubtedly washed clean, Chetodarpanam Marjanam. Alright? Our mind, our heart is full of those 6 anarthas covering. But when we become Krishna conscious, then we start watching away those anarthas. And one is undoubtedly washed clean of all misgivings and is in perfect knowledge in everything concerning transcendence. Where did you read this? We read the previous verse, right? Where Prabhupada is saying that we should have a spiritual life, yes. Text 2. However, he can know everything well, he takes care, if he cares. Let's see what Prabhupada wrote. And in text 16, speaking in the middle there. One can know God. However, he can know everything, whether he cares to take shelter of the perfect, bona fide Krishna conscious spirituality. Alright? One can know God and one's relationship with God only when one actually is a representative of God. So that representative of God is going to show us our unrightness. Right? Actually, parents are supposed to do it. Right? Parents are supposed to do it. You know, I remember this one devotee, she was speaking about her husband. She said, we are friends. We tell each other about our faults. Tell each other about our faults. So, but one whose mind, intelligence, faith, refuge, and all in Krishna and others, one who's fully in Krishna consciousness, undoubtedly washed clean of all his sins, and is in perfect knowledge in everything concerning transcendence. But this fault finding with each other, right? This fault finding with each other. We all do it, right? We're always telling our friends, you are like this, right? Does it help anybody? Does it? So therefore, Guru is important. Guru. How about Guru would be this one who cares to accept the spiritual needs. Right? So that spiritual master, if we are sufficiently humble and ready to accept his instruction, then we can say our anartha. First thing, what happened is that we sin and then we just what we call brush it under the carpet, right? We don't want to see it. Srila Bhakti Siddhanta, what did he say? Those who praise me, they are my enemies. Right? Those who praise me, they are my enemies. Those who insult me, they are my friends. Right? Because your friends, they don't want to tell you. Right? They don't want to tell you. Your enemy has no inhibition in telling us, right? So, actually, it is Krishna who removes. See what happens that we become aware and we are open to corrections. It's on this point of disbelief. It's not just really you're reading a phrase Prabhupada has written, one whose mind, intelligence, faith, and refuge are always in Krishna. Or in other words, one who is fully in Krishna consciousness is undoubtedly washed clean of all misgivings. It's not just reading something and then overnight stuff. Heavy duty thing, super heavy duty. Nashtaprayeshu abhadreshu. The heart is full of abhadra, inauspicious things. By hearing the Srimad Bhagavatam in a submissive mood, right? Then the Cheta Dharmana Marjana is going to happen. Then the cleansing of the heart is going to happen. Right? And who will cleanse? Vidhunoti Surit Satam. Srimvatam Swakata Krishna. Punya Shavana Kirtana. Rit Andasto Lyavatrani. Vidhunoti Surit Satam. Those who are constantly hearing and chanting this Srimad Bhagavatam Bhagavad Gita, what is happening? Krishna himself become the cleansing agent. Right? Krishna himself is cleaning. So So nobody has courage to pick out their another. So our system is that we allow Krishna to remove. And what happens when those anahas are removed? What usually happens? Everything happens.
Cleans.
Yeah, you become free. Right?
Yeah.
It's the new carrying burden. Right? You become free. This is actual liberation. Free. Then, when it's out, nobody can hurt you. Right?
Nobody can.
hurt you. Once it is out, right? Nobody has the power
To
to
hurt.
hurt us. Right? It's like we are bouncing off a wall that cannot be broken. Right? So, refuge. When one's intelligence, so here Prabhupada says, speaking about intelligence, meaning if your intelligence is not strong, if you're not having this knowledge, if the mind is too fragile, that mind is so attached, I just said, right? Mind is attached to its calm, clothed, loba, moha, vatsarya, but, right? It's holding on. But when one's intelligence, mind, faith, means, see, I cannot just give myself to somebody unless I have faith in that person, isn't it? I have faith in what? I have faith that this person cares for me, right? So that's how we accept the spiritual master. We know that the spiritual master cares for me, alright? And we know that the spiritual master is a representative of Krishna. And the Guru is simply the mouthpiece of Krishna, right? And whatever Guru is telling me will be confirmed by Krishna. Where? We read the books. Right? We read the books. It's Krishna's words. Guru is saying one thing, we read the books. So when one's intelligence, mind, faith, and refuge means that the shelter. Whose shelter have I taken? Tatparayanaha, who have completely taken shelter of him. So that determination has to come in your heart. That I am taking shelter of
Krishna.
That determination has to come. Every day has to be one step in surrender. Surrender is a conscious action. Alright? Surrender is a conscious action. Mental or physical. And spiritual. Externally, like I am bowing down to the Supreme Lord. This is how it looks, right? Mentally, I am accepting His guidance, His words, His instructions, and spiritually, Krishna, I belong to you. I have nothing to do in this world. I have left you behind. A Krishna conscious person can thoroughly understand that there is duality, simultaneous identity and individuality in Krishna. And a equipped with such transcendent knowledge, one can make steady progress on the path of liberation. One can make steady progress. See, anybody wants to measure his or her progress. You come, you want to tread you accept a path, like all of you, I'm seeing that you're coming, you want to hear, you want to listen, right? Meaning that you're accepting the path, right? You also want to know whether you're making progress.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Isn't it?
Yes.
We also here it's Krishna is giving her the symptom of goodness. So Krishna is making a statement. So if one thoroughly understands there is duality between Krishna and myself, and is equipped with such transcendental knowledge, one can make steady progress on the path of liberation. Again, I repeat. Why is it that philosophers do not accept two? They say everything is one. Why? Why?
Because they want to ultimately become one with God either, and they want to become God.
Yeah, so why they want this?
They merge with God.
Why they want to merge?
Ego, then ego. Then ego.
Yeah, because again I'm saying, also there are two immediately there is
Conflict.
We are in conflict with Krishna. It's such a harsh reality. Such a harsh reality, like, we've been to all these japa sessions, right? So explain all this, say that we have a broken relationship with Krishna, isn't it? And we are not ready to fix it. We are not ready to fix it. And Krishna is always open to receive us. Right? So we see thousands, Bahunam Janmanam Ante, in the previous verse, Bahunam Janmanam Ante, Jnanava Mam Prapadyate, meaning how many lifetimes it takes us to finally surrender to Krishna. Right? So meaning we come, we go, we come, we go, we come and go. So Prabhupada, like the devotees have come really vivid. So many people come and take shelter Prabhupada and then they go. Another section come, they go. So Prabhupada made a statement. Don't be surprised at who leaves. Be surprised at who stays. Alright? Be surprised at who stays and not at who goes. Why? Bahunam Janmanam Ante Jnanavamam Prapadyate. So constantly consider this whole Hare Krishna movement. Every 3 years we see a completely different set of face. Every 3 years. People come, they join, they do, they go. Another set come, they come, they do, they go. Right? So who are there who still, in any temple you go, who are there steadily still there? Very few. Very, very few. Right? But whatever they have, whoever have come, whatever little progress they have done, stays permanent. Alright? Right? Krishna told us. On this path there is no loss, no diminution, right? Even a little bit of advancement will push you. I remember Krishna, when Putana caught Krishna, right? Putana caught Krishna, and then Putana wanted to get rid of Krishna. Krishna would not. So devotees are like this. So Krishna never let go of anybody. Even when you're going, you still say, okay, touch my finger. becoming devotees. Very difficult task. Krishna is doing it. Okay, text 18.
With
Vidyaya sampane
Vidya Vinaya Sampane
Brahmane Govihastini Shuni Chaiva Swapake Cha Pandita Samadarshina
Vidya with education, Vinaya and gentleness. Sampanne fully equipped. Brahmane in the Brahmana. Gavi in the cow. Hastini in the elephant. Suni in the dog. Cha and Eva certainly. Swapake in the dog eater. The outcast. Cha respectively. Pandita, those who are wise. Samadarshina, who see with equal vision. The humble sages, by virtue of true knowledge, see with equal vision a learned and gentle Brahmana, a cow, an elephant, a dog, and a dog eater, outcast. Purport: a Krishna conscious person does not make any distinction between species or castes. The Brahmana and the outcast may be different from the social point of view, or a dog, a cow, and an elephant may be different from the point of view of species, but these differences of body are meaningless from the viewpoint of a learned transcendentalist. This is due to their relationship to the Supreme. For the Supreme Lord, by his plenary portion as Paramatma, is present in everyone's heart. Such an understanding of the Supreme is real knowledge. As far as the bodies are concerned, in different castes or different species of life, the Lord is equally kind to everyone because he treats every living being as a friend, yet maintains himself as Paramatma regardless of the circumstances of the living entities. The Lord as Paramatma is present both in the outcast and in the Brahmana, although the body of a Brahmana and that of an outcast are not the same. The bodies are material productions of different modes of material nature, but the soul and the super soul within the body are of the same spiritual quality. The similarity in the quality of the soul and the super soul, however, does not make them equal in quantity, for the individual soul is present only in that particular body, whereas the Paramatma is present in each and every body. A Krishna conscious person has full knowledge of this, and therefore he is truly learned and has equal vision. The similar characteristics of the soul and super soul are that they are both conscious, eternal, and blissful. But the difference is that the individual soul is conscious within the limited jurisdiction of the body, whereas the super soul is conscious of all bodies. The super soul is present in all bodies without distinction.
Okay, so this is very famous verse. So when somebody is self-realized, right? When somebody is self-realized, so what is his vision? What is he seeing? Right? We already spoke on how the eyes are covered by ignorance. Right? When we forget Krishna, we lose our connection with Krishna. We the eyes are seeing through Kam, Krodh, Loha, Moha, Matsya. It's in this silence. Now, when we become self-realized, what are we seeing? So by virtue of true knowledge, what is he seeing? With an equal vision. Alright? This is very important verse. Extremely important. Right? And this is describing, the spiritual master. Right? How the spiritual master is not making any difference between a learned, gentle Brahmana, a cow, an elephant, a dog, and a dog eater, even outcast. So now examine, this is such a crucial verse. A Krishna conscious person doesn't make any distinction between species or castes. Right? This belongs to high class, this is middle, this is lower class, this is outcast. dog eaters, outcasts. Right? The Brahmana and the outcast may be different from the social point of view. Right? Or a dog, a cow, and an elephant may be different from the point of view of species. But these differences of body are meaningless from the viewpoint of a learned transcendentalist. I just told a story the other day of how I saw this Ramchandra, how he killed Taraka, this Rakshasi, right? And it's really amazing, like the whole interaction. So in the story of the Taraka, so it's told what happened. There were many who were involved in it. First thing it was herself. She fell in love with it. She's a Yakshini. And so Yakshas, they are the treasurer, right? The treasurers. The gods of wealth, right? So she fell in love with a Gandharva, and when she wanted to marry him, the father said, "What? Outcast, you're not worthy of our caste, right? Who knew? That's what who didn't know not of our caste, right? So no, you can't marry." Then the beginning of the story is how the father and daughter are so beloved to each other. Then the girl, now fell in love with somebody else. And then immediately what happened? Break, right? Relationship between father and daughter broke, right? So, then what happened? The father cursed the girl. You will lose all your Aishwarya because Yakshas are, right? They keep wealth. They're keepers of wealth, right? You lose all your wealth. Right? So the father cursed the girl. So she was very happy. She married this boy, had 2 children. So she was staying in some cottage and very simple and gathering here and there, eating fruits. So Vishwamitra Muni is telling the whole story. He says that the effect of material nature doesn't leave anybody happy for long. This material world is made such a way. Alright? See now, I'm just saying how good relationship, loving relationship broke. Right? Because she wants to marry this boy. Okay? And now, father, so loving to daughter, curse the daughter. I'm just telling you the horror of this material world. Right? Then finally, now they are happily married, 2 children, born, eating fruits from the nature. And then one day there was cyclone, it was heavy, thunder and everything, and there was nothing in the environment to eat. And the children were hungry, right? And naturally, the father cannot stand to see the children hungry. So he went out. It's a horrific story. He went out in the run, going to look for something. And he himself becoming hungry, he didn't find anything. And he plucked some leaf. And that leaf happened to be an intoxicant, just to chew. He became intoxicated. And while walking, he fell upon the ashram of Gagasya Muni, who is doing a yagya. It's horrific, the story. I didn't know it. Only as a child I heard the story. I only know Ramchandra killed Taraka. Now I'm seeing the movie. Yeah. So he came up under Rasamuni, there is a huge Hawaii going on. Okay? And Hawaii means so many fruits. This man saw the fruits, pounced upon it, and he was taking all the fruits that he put it up on his back. He was going. That time a disciple came and saw, "Oh, you thief! You're stealing the fruits of meant for Vishnu, right? Pulling, that man fell in the yagya pool. Alright? Man fell in the yagya pool. I'm speaking about the horror of this material nature. Right? He fell in the yagya pool. So now, when the husband is not coming, so Taraka, she went out looking, where's the husband? Walking around, she came to this Agastya Muni's ashram. She asked, did you see him? And they told her, he has fallen in the yagya pool. You know? And Agastya Muni says, this is only instrument of destiny. Do you think Taraka accepted it? Do you think she accepted it? She didn't accept, right? She didn't accept. So what did she do? Taraka actually had the strength of 1,000 elephants. She just gave one slap and killed that Muni. That Muni who is the disciple, who was pulling, right? One slap, finished. And then she cursed. She said, I will not allow any yagya to happen here. And she insulted the Brahmanas. And then the Brahmana insulted her back, cursed her back. You becoming Rakshasa. Rakshasi. You understand what is this material world? Right? Then Agastya Muni said, anyway, my yagya has become I have to go from here. I have to go from here. So he took his disciples to went off to another one. Right? And now Taraka is in the form of a Rakshasa, and she would not allow any yagya to happen. She and her two sons, whenever any yagya would happen, you know the whole story, that how they would just create impurities. Alright? Now Vishwamitra Muni brought Ram Lakshman to this place and told the whole story. Right? So as soon as Vishwamitra Muni appeared in that area, so that Rakshasi, she started to appear. Right? Because she wants to just throw him out. She started to appear. How Ramachandra dealt with her? How Ramachandra is speaking of this verse, equal vision. Right? You can see here, everybody's at fault. Right? From beginning till end, whoever it may be, everybody is at fault. How did Ram handle this whole mess? Okay? This whole mess. Now Vishwamitra Muni has brought Ramchandra to solve the mess. Right? I said earlier, nobody can remove our anartha. Right? So Ramachandra came, and Ramachandra was like questioning. He said, you brought me here for this, forgot the name of those two Rakshasa. You brought me here for them. Then Vishwamitra Muni said, actually behind them is the mother, Taraka. She is the most powerful woman. So Ramachandra was saying, it's a woman. It's a woman. I cannot kill a woman. Right? So Ramachandra, how he addressed her? He addressed her as Mata. Alright? He addressed her Mata. What happened to the Rakshasi? She melted. She melted. Immediately she melted. And she came out. She assumed her original form. But when Ramachandra is telling her, you go away, she wouldn't agree. You understand? Yes. She's not surrendering to Ramachandra. Ramchandra is telling her to go away. She's not agreeing. And then either Lakshman or Ramachandra let out an arrow on her hand. And she screamed and went away. So I said, why did you not kill her? He said, no, this is only, I'm giving her an indication. I'm giving you a warning. You understand, this is how the Supreme Lord works. Right?
Kind.
He's kind. He's giving chances. Yes. Reform yourself. Reform yourself. Right? Surrender. Reform yourself. Reform. I don't know how many times we just sent her like this, didn't kill her. Right? She wouldn't. She came back in her full Rakshasi form. Right? And so the story is like funny when she came back. Then Ramachandra cut off her two arms and she threw the weapon. You're killing a woman? Right? This is how women speak. When they are being Rakshasi, they don't say I'm being Rakshasi. So they throw the blame on the other party, right? So you're killing a woman? What did Ramachandra reply? What did he say? I am not killing a woman. I'm liberating her from her Rakshasi body. This verse is showing how equal vision. For so many others, she doesn't deserve it. Right? She doesn't deserve it. Because she's been so nasty, so aggressive to all the Brahmanas, the Munis, right? Ramachandra is not thinking that this Muni will go on doing their swaha and this woman is going back home after Godhead. You follow? Ramachandra is not discriminating, that all the Brahmanas will go on doing their swaha. But here before them, this Rakshasi, he is liberating her and sending her to Vaikuntha.
He sent her.
Yeah. And the other one is sitting here doing swaha. Equal vision. Let the Brahmanas purify themselves. Let them become fit for liberation. But this woman, he has shown compassion. He didn't make any difference between a learned, gentle Brahmana and a Rakshasi.
So was she like able to go to the platform?
Yes. Ramachandra liberated her.
Just out of mercy.
Yeah, he liberated her. He didn't see all the faults. He didn't see all the horrific activities she's been doing. Right? And that's how our spiritual masters are. Those who are initiated, those who have taken Sharia gurus, they know how merciful they are. Okay, so let's continue this.
Because Treta Yajna was at that time, so that's why Vishwamitra wanted Yajnas to take place.
Whatever. I'm just saying that equal vision. Equal
That is a
vision.
very good point.
Yeah, equal vision. He didn't say that, oh, you're doing tapasya, oh, you're doing, deity worship, oh, you're doing yagya and here's a rakshasi. Right? So that's why we say Pati Pavan Sitaram, right? Patita, she's fallen. She's fallen. But he has decided to be compassionate towards him, towards her. Like Putana. Right? So let's read this again. The Brahmana and the outcast may be different from the social point of view. So, Rakshasa and Brahmana, right? Different social order. dog, a cat, and elephant may be different from the point of view of species, but these differences of body are meaningless from the viewpoint of a learned transcendentalist. This is due to their relationship to the Supreme or the Supreme Lord. By his plenary portion as Paramatma is present in everyone's heart. Such an understanding of the Supreme is real knowledge. So I've given you an example of how that Paramatma in the heart of Taraka was standing in front of her as Ramachandra, and he's not making any difference between Vishwamitra Muni and Taraka. Not making any difference.
But we have to become purified now before go to backward. So she was purified, like she was.
Ramachandra gave her mercy.
Okay.
Alright? He killed her. She became purified.
Oh.
Right? At the touch of Lord Ramachandra, right? She became purified.
But even if she was behaving nasty, like how Lord Ramchandra was being merciful.
Nobody questioned the mercy of the Ramachandra. When Vibhishan, right? When Vibhishan left the party of Ravana and he was coming towards Ramachandra, right? From Lanka he's coming. Immediately everybody said, kill him. He's from the party of Ravana. Right? We don't like to accept all this, you know. Oh, he's my enemy. Why am I being kind to my enemy, right? So when Vibhishan was coming, immediately all the monkeys, everybody said, kill him. He belongs to the enemy camp. Ramachandra said no. Right? Ramachandra said a very, very important word. He said that even if Ravan will come right now and surrender, I will accept him. Right? He says, whoever comes to meet a shelter, all the horrors of his life, whatever sinful activity we may have performed, whatever mess we have created in our life, I've just given you the story of Taraka. It is an example, a small sample of how we have messed up our lives. Right? It's why Ramayana is written. Not written but recounted to show us. And Krishna, we read earlier, said, you can't understand the law of karma, you can't understand the intricacies of actions and reactions. Nobody can trace them out. So you just surrender to Krishna. Right? Only then can all this mess be taken care of. So, in our Krishna consciousness movement, among gurus, there is one saying, mercy is higher than law. Mercy is higher than law. I know some Guru Maharaj who give diksha to some disciple, even though everybody says this person is so nasty. This. Guru Maharaj said, mercy is higher than law. And he gave initiation. Why? Because with the strength of initiation, that devotee can progress. You understand? So, Guru can do this only when he has equal vision. Otherwise, your name will never be on the list. Because you know, friends and enemies everywhere. Right? You only see how you're dealing with me, and then I will give you, okay, you're doing nasty with me, then I say cross your name. Right? So, Guru is that the humble sages. Right? He has this equal vision, and he judges who to give initiation to, who to give mercy to. Like we saw Ramachandra. He decided. He could have just told Vishwamitra, you didn't bring me here telling me that I'm going to kill a Rakshasi, a woman. Could just have said, no, I'm not going to do it. Right? When he understood what was the situation. Because if these two boys would have been told that you're coming in this world to kill a Rakshasi, a woman, maybe they wouldn't have come. Right? So on the spot, Ramachandra had to decide what to do. And so we saw his judgment. Right? See, this law of dharma is such a thing that you cannot just be caught in the laws of dharma. They are laws. What is the law in this case? A woman is not to be killed. Simple. Right? And this law is being used. Like Sugriv and Vali. Right? You don't kill from behind. Right? And Ramachandra killed from behind. And Vali reproached. Right? Vali reproached. And what did Ramachandra say? Since when are you following the laws of dharma? Right? Since when are you following the laws of dharma? Long discussion on this. What is dharma? What is adharma? Right? So it's not so easy to understand all these things. Okay, so but these differences of body are meaningless from the viewpoint of a learned transcendentalism. This is due to the relationship in the Supreme, because that Rakshasi is actually Krishna's child, Ramachandra's child. Right? For the Supreme Lord, by his plenary portion as Paramatma, is present in everyone's heart. Such an understanding of the Supreme is real knowledge. If we can understand this, we stop hating other people.
Yes.
Alright? As far as bodies are concerned in different castes or different species of life, the Lord is equally kind to everyone because he treats every living being as a friend, yet maintains himself as Paramatma regardless of the circumstances of the living entities. The Supreme Lord is remaining a friend, and the person is doing whatever he or she wants to do. Right? But he's remaining there always with the person, waiting when the person will turn to him. The Lord as Paramatma is present both in the outcast and in the Brahmana, although the body of a Brahmana and that of an outcast is not the same. The bodies are material projections of different modes of material nature, but the soul and the super soul within the body are of the same spiritual quality. Why is it that one person gets body of a Brahmana and another gets body of an outcast? Why?
Due to their own eating habits.
Who is pious gets the body of Brahmana. Who is impious gets body of a outcast. Right? And here the Brahmana is not making any difference between what? Piety and impiety. He's not making any difference. What?
Because they have by their own karma, they have nothing to do. God has nothing to do with it. We are only doing our karma and effect.
Yeah, so why is it that the Supreme Lord or the spiritual master doesn't make any difference between the Brahmana and the outcast? Meaning no difference between piety and impiety.
Due to soul.
Yes, because the spiritual master, the humble sages, they are seeing Bhagavad Gita. The bodies of material productions of different modes of material nature, meaning ignorance and goodness. Right? But the soul and supersoul within the body are of the same spiritual quality. The similarity in the quality of the soul and the supersoul, however, doesn't make them equal in quantity. For the individual soul is present only in the particular body, whereas the Paramatma is present in each and every body. A Krishna conscious person has full knowledge of this, and therefore he is truly learned and has equal vision. The similar characteristic of soul and supersoul are that they are both conscious, eternal, and blissful. But the difference is that the individual soul is conscious within the limited jurisdiction of the body, whereas the supersoul is conscious of all bodies. The supersoul is present in all bodies without distinction. So the humble sages is seeing that here is a soul who is pure in quality and along with him is the Paramatma. Alright? Due to circumstances, due to circumstances, one is performing pious activity, the other one is performing impious activity. But chances to become purified and to go back home, back to Godhead is equal. Right? See, some people they reproach Prabhupada. They say, why did you give Diksha to Westerners? Right? Why did you give Diksha to this one, that one? Prabhupada was equal vision. Right? It's equal vision. He didn't say that unless you're born in a family Brahmana, then I'll give you Diksha. Right? Generally, this is the principle. Right? Diksha is given to those who are Brahminical, not those who are outcasts. And Diksha is given to the men, not to women. Right? Given to the men. The woman, she is dependent on the husband. If the husband is a good devotee, the woman will progress along with him. Right? Srila Prabhupada gave Diksha to woman. Right? Equal vision. They reproach Prabhupada. Why are you giving Diksha to women? Right? They say, given chance. If husband is not following, if father is not following, what will happen to the women? Give them chance. Right? If you just sit and wait, for a husband to take you back home, back to God, and go, never go, right? So Prabhupada equal vision, say, give them chance. Right now, whoever we may be, chance meaning now work. Work hard. Work very hard to upgrade ourselves. And Krishna is helping. So this verse is extremely important. Extremely important. There is one conversation, actually there is one book called Watering the Seed. J.R. Swami, he compiled that book, Watering the Seed. It's a compilation of Prabhupada's instructions, etc. So there's a whole chapter on this, where guests were like arguing with Prabhupada. You are not Samadarshina. You are not this, So they were arguing in this point. And finally they understood that Prabhupada's greatness. What is Prabhupada's greatness? That Prabhupada went to the West and he gave the philosophy to each and every one. Right? Even in India, everybody's falling down, right? Where are the Brahmanas? Where are the Kshatriyas? Even Vaishyas are not there. Right? Where are they all? Everybody's fallen. Right? So if Srila Prabhupada, following the instruction of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, right? If he didn't give his Krishna consciousness to each and everyone, where would we be today? You and I are going to be sitting here today. Right? With all our faults. Isn't it? It's Samadarshina. Vidya Vinaya Sampanne. Vidya with education, Vinaya, gentleness, Sampanne, fully equipped. Very important word, fully equipped. Ordinary people cannot see this. They see duality. Right? Brahmani in the Brahmana, Gavi, the cow, Hastini, the elephant, Shmini in the dog, Shopaki in the dog eater, the outcast. Shuni Cheva Shopakicha, Pandita, Samadarshinaha, Samadarshinaha. His darshan is sama, equal, not differentiating between this one and this one. Not differentiating. There is no favorite, there is no preferences when it comes to giving Krishna consciousness to the world. Right? So it's a very, very deep science. Huge science. And it has to be learned and it has to be applied and will become peaceful. We're able to understand this few. Remember, this is Karma Yoga, Action with Krishna Consciousness, right? And it is also the state of self-realization, right? So these are all describing someone who is self-realized, what his attitude is, how he lives in this world. So this is very important. All right, so we will continue next week. This section all together. So we have to remember when we are dealing with the world. Prabhupada says we are all in hospital, right? Everybody is in hospital. But when we come in this material world, we're in a prison house. And when I come to Krishna consciousness, I have entered a hospital. Meaning sick people come, right? Or is it healthy people who come? He was saying, just see how he and she is, right? Everybody is in hospital. Mental disease, spiritual disease actually, we read. Spiritual disease. What is a spiritual disease? We read in Path of Perfection, very elaborately. Srila Prabhupada explained this. Path of Perfection. Please read that book. Path of Perfection. Prabhupada said the soul is diseased. What is the disease? It has developed in material body, gross and subtle. And this, what we are seeing, what is visible in front of us, is all the manifestations of these diseases. Right? Kam, Krodh, Lobha, Moha, Matsarya, Mad. These are the disease of this gross and subtle body. Right? So, food for thought. Right? See, we won't be able to live life if we don't hang on to our body. no need to go to that. And if we are not in satsanga, no need to do it. Okay? So remember, be among those who stay. Don't be among those who go. Right? Very easy to do. Very, very easy to do. Prabhupada compared, he says like you're dealing with china glass. You know what's china glass? China glass, china glass, you drop, it break. Right? We are like that china glass. Break. It can't be china glass. If you want to go back home after you got head, very strong. Determined, serious. Then all this comes by strengthening the intelligence. Right? And the best of intelligence is to take shelter of Krishna, knowing I'm weak. Right? Knowing I'm weak is foolishness to think I can fend for myself, I can take care of myself. Right? Right? I don't know. The Green verse is so intense, isn't it?
And you relate with Mataji with all connecting stories and all. That's very really it opens our mind towards those things. Otherwise, we'll be in this path only. Like
It's very difficult basically to read this book with the perfection. If stories are not there, it is.
What is a story? A story is a case study.
Yes.
Right? It's a case study of a sample of my own life. Right? This is what the story I'm telling. Like I am telling the story of Taraka.
And Mataji, even Lord Krishna has given you so much knowledge, like your God for us. Like, at that particular moment for you to connect with those things is also by the grace of Lord Krishna.
Because I'm reading Bhagavad Gita, when I saw the story, it's not the way I would watch it when I was 20 years old. Understand? I read the story when I was 6, 7, 8 years old. All of you, right? We saw that Chitrakatha, Amar Chitrakatha. We all saw Taraka.
Yes.
Now, I'm watching this, the whole movie of Bhagavad Gita in front of me, right?
They too must not know also Amar Chitra Katha. In their age, it's not there, Mataji.
Really?
Our ages, it was there.
No. But they have Ramayana in
Like our age was like we lived those days like Amar Chitra Katha, and we used to do that collection of the books and all like. So it is in front of our generation, but their generation is different, very
Is it
different.
true?
Yes.
You haven't seen Ramayana?
No. Amar Chitra Katha books.
I have seen, but it was not very like famous in our
Yes, if they are.
rarely we can find.
Yes.
Yeah, so watching the movie, oh my God, this is what Bhagavad Gita is describing. Now we understand why Krishna says Sarva Dharman Parityaja Mam Ekam Sharanam Raja Aham Tvam Sarva Papebhyo Mokshami Masucha. Don't worry. Whether you may be a Rakshasi or what, Ravana, whatever. This is the mercy of Ramachandra. He is not looking who will protest, Why why you gave liberation? She's like this, she's like that. Why you gave? In our movement, how gurus suffer? They suffer. Disciples, always bashing them. Why you favor this one? Why you favor that one? Right? Always.
story of Lord Sangeeta. Here, how does it, the context,
No, I
is
just
merciful to Bali to liberate?
yeah, but see, I didn't study the story. I didn't see the whole thing. See, I have heard very briefly, right? But I heard there is a whole explanation, this why he did this, right? And the katha telling it, I have forgotten. But this one was very visual. The story of Tara is very visual. So when I was watching the whole philosophy. As things were happening, I was watching the entire philosophy.
It's on. You saw that it's a movie.
Yeah, Ramayana.
Okay.
Yeah. It's
Okay.
not on Ramayana YouTube.
So what we search on that which you have?
I have no idea why Ramayana suddenly popped up on my phone. I have no idea. It's all genie thing for me.
So sometimes when we read that, it comes. The Google takes it.
Maybe Krishna or Ramchandra
Yes.
wanted me to see
Yes.
it. You know?
Yes.
Actually, what happened? I just completed one section of one verse, two verses. Shrimad Bhagavad 10:1. So some question, some discussion, something was happening to me. So I closed the book and unfortunately, as usual, I opened my phone, right? And YouTube, this popped up. I just sat on the spot and watched it. So, and then I thought that Ramachandra wanted to show me something. So I don't know from where it came. I'm not going to search for it. Right? See, this is like one instance of like what we say, this is unfair, this is unfair, this is unfair, right? This is what we will say. Because we are envious. How come? You get Nobel Prize. He doesn't deserve, she doesn't deserve, right? Pati Pavan Ramachandra, right? And the next movie was starting Ahilya, I just said, okay. Ahilya, again, then today, was it, I think maybe Lokanath Maharaj, he was speaking of Pati Pavan Ram. Now I understand why he's called Pati. Otherwise, just, one glorification, one going on, so many stuff is going around, me repeat also going around. I understand Ahilya, right? How she's criticized. Ahilya, again, Ramachandra didn't look at her fault, right? He liberated her, right?
It became a stone.
Yeah, he didn't say everybody can reproach, why? Ramachandra doesn't care for anyone, right? He liberated her. Anyway, so that's why we are fortunate if Krishna comes in our lives. The most fortunate. So anyway, if you will go on attending, the satsang, you will hear your progress. But if you will distance yourself, right? We cannot do time pass bhakti, right? Right? We want the mercy of Ramachandra. We want the mercy of Krishna. Right? I never understood this verse. Sarva dharma paramam ekam sharanam vraja. Aharitam sarva papebhyo mokshayam mas. I will free you from all sin. And in front of my eyes I saw how it happens. Ramayana is sung and done memorial.
His YouTube was in Hindi or English?
Hindi.
Hindi.
I'm learning Hindi, you know.
So some things are more which that you can relate in Hindi also, Mata.
Well,
What happens like some things na which I'm Hindi speaking like, but I read all English. In my house they tell me, Didi, aap hi English padte ho. They read Hindi. So that when you read Hindi is more closing.
Hindi has become more difficult for us because we are used to English from young age, schools and all that. Now, Hindi Bhagavatam is very nice, but they need to put a lot of effort to understand.
Well, I'm listening to all the lectures of Maharajas. They're all speaking in Hindi. All of them.
Which Maharaj?
Bhakti Rasamrita Maharaj, Bhakti Ashray Maharaj, Raghunath Maharaj. They're all speaking in Hindi. Will I miss the lecture?
मैं तो भगवद गीता हिंदी में पढ़ती हूँ काफी टाइम से मैं पढ़ती हूँ
No, this Ramayana was in Hindi. Do you think I'm going to listen?
Hindi is no
I'm
better.
not understanding everything, but because we know the philosophy.
फर्स्ट टाइम इंग्लिश में मैं पढ़ रही हूँ अदरवाइज मैं नहीं पढ़ी
And whatever I'm the Krishna's telling me, Anyway, when I don't understand how to call somebody, but then they don't translate properly, I get frustrated.